Hi, I'm Dream. On the day my husband passed away, I said nothing about the $30 million inheritance or about the fact that I suspected foul play. Marcus had been healthy, vibrant, and only 42. A heart attack didn't make sense, but grief clouded my judgment that day. Dream, you need to eat something, Eliza urged, setting a mug of tea beside me. My best friend hadn't left my side since the funeral. I'm not hungry, I replied, staring at the wall of my living room. 3 years of marriage, and now he's just gone. Eliza sat beside me, her brow furrowed. I know this isn't the time, but have you spoken with Richard yet? About the company? Marcus's CFO? No, why? Something feels off. He called me this morning asking if you'd signed any paperwork yet. I turned to face her. Paperwork? What paperwork? That's what worried me, Eliza said, tucking her dark hair behind her ear. He mentioned transfer documents for the company, said they needed to be processed immediately. Transfer documents? The company is part of my inheritance. Marcus made that clear. Eliza leaned forward. That's not what Richard said. According to him, there's a business agreement that transfers everything to Anthony in the event of Marcus's death. Anthony? My voice rose sharply. His business partner? That's impossible. Marcus rewrote his will 3 months ago. I was there. When did you last see the will? I paused. Marcus kept it in his office safe. We need to check. Now. 20 minutes later, I was staring at an empty safe. This doesn't make sense, I whispered, running my fingers along the metal interior. Nobody has this combination except Marcus and me. And Anthony, came a voice from the doorway. We turned to see Marcus's assistant, Jade, standing there with red-rimmed eyes. What did you say? I asked. Anthony has the combination. I saw Marcus give it to him last month. Said it was for emergencies. Did you see anyone access this safe recently? Eliza questioned. Jade nodded slowly. Anthony was here yesterday, before the funeral, said he needed some business documents. And you let him in? I couldn't keep the accusation from my voice. He's a partner in the company. I didn't think... Jade stopped, her expression changing. Wait, the day before Marcus died, they had a huge argument. I've never seen them like that. About what? I pressed. I don't know exactly, but Anthony kept saying something about their agreement and Marcus was furious. He said, there is no agreement and there never will be. Then Anthony said something that chilled me. What? Eliza and I asked simultaneously. Jade swallowed hard. He said, we'll see about that. Everything can change in a heartbeat. Tell me exactly what you heard again, Detective Ramsey said, his pen hovering above his notepad. His office was sterile, with awards and certificates carefully aligned on the wall behind him. I repeated Jade's account of the argument and Anthony's chilling words. And your husband died of a heart attack the very next day? He raised a single eyebrow. Yes, supposedly. Mrs. Henderson, accusations of murder require substantial evidence. I understand that, I replied, leaning forward. But what about the missing will? The timing? Anthony's behavior? Detective Ramsey sighed. I can look into it, but I need more than suspicious timing. What about toxicology? Eliza interjected. Was that done? Basic panel only, he replied. Nothing unusual was found. But you weren't looking for anything unusual, I pointed out. Could we request a more comprehensive screening? He considered this. I could make that request. In the meantime, speak with your husband's attorney about the will situation. 2 hours later, I sat across from Thomas Barnes, Marcus's longtime attorney. This is highly irregular, Thomas said, adjusting his glasses. Marcus filed an updated will 3 months ago. I have the copy right here. Then why was the safe empty? That I can't explain. But legally speaking, this is the binding document. He pushed it toward me. And it clearly states that you inherit everything. Personal assets, real estate, and his 70% stake in Henderson Technologies. So even if Anthony had some kind of side agreement, it wouldn't supersede this will, Thomas finished. Unless he can produce documentation with your husband's authenticated signature that specifically addresses company succession. I felt a small spark of hope. So Anthony can't just take the company? Not legally, no, but Thomas hesitated. But what? He's been making moves. Called an emergency board meeting this morning. I received word that he's presenting some kind of partnership agreement to the board. My phone rang. Olivia, Anthony's wife. I'd known her for years, though we weren't close. Dream? Can we meet? Somewhere private? It's about Anthony. At the Quiet Corner Cafe, Olivia nervously twisted her wedding ring. I found something in Anthony's desk last night, she began, voice barely above a whisper. Papers, forms. They had Marcus's signature, but what? Olivia? They didn't look right. The signatures. I've seen Marcus sign things before at company events. These looked different. Are you saying they're forgeries? She looked around anxiously. I'm saying Anthony has been practicing Marcus's signature. I found a pad with dozens of attempts. Did you bring these papers? She shook her head. I couldn't. He would know. But I took photos. She slid her phone across the table. The documents detailed a partnership agreement that would transfer Marcus's shares to Anthony upon death. And the signatures did look off, slightly too precise, too deliberate. There's more, Olivia said. The night before Marcus died, Anthony came home late. His shirt had something on it. He threw it away immediately. And he's been taking these pills lately. Some kind of medication I've never seen before. Have you asked him about them? He said they're for anxiety. But Dream, her voice broke. What if there's something else? What if he had something to do with Marcus's death? We have the toxicology results, Detective Ramsey announced, placing a folder on his desk. And you were right to be suspicious. My heart pounded. What did you find? Traces of a compound that mimics heart attack symptoms. It metabolizes quickly. Would have been undetectable after 24 hours. We only found it because we knew what to look for. So Marcus was murdered, I whispered. It appears so, and we have a search warrant for Anthony Clark's residence and office. That search yielded everything we needed. The forged documents, the practicing pad Olivia had mentioned, and most damning, a small vial of the same compound found in Marcus's system. I insisted on being present when they brought Anthony in for questioning. I want to see his face, I told Ramsey. Behind the glass, I need to see this. Anthony walked in confidently, but faltered when he saw the evidence laid out. These are serious allegations, Mr. Clark, Ramsey began. This is ridiculous, Anthony scoffed. I'm being framed. By whom? Your wife? Who provided us with the evidence of your forgery practice? Anthony's face drained of color. Olivia would never. She did. Along with your suspicious behavior the night Marcus died. The shirt you discarded. The mysterious pills. This is all circumstantial, he insisted. But his confidence was cracking. The toxicology report isn't. Nor is the identical compound we found in your possession. As Anthony realized the gravity of his situation, I requested to speak with him directly. Against Ramsey's better judgment, he allowed it, with officers present. When I entered, Anthony's demeanor changed instantly. Dream, you can't possibly believe I would hurt Marcus. We were partners, friends. Friends don't steal from each other, I replied coldly. This is all a misunderstanding. The agreement was legitimate. Save it. The forgeries have been confirmed by 2 separate experts. His strategy shifted. Look, business got complicated. Marcus wasn't thinking clearly about the company's future. I was protecting our legacy. By murdering him? I asked bluntly. That's not... I never meant... He ran his hands through his hair. It was just supposed to be enough to make him sick, to scare him into seeing reason. I didn't measure correctly. It was an accident. An accident? My voice rose. You deliberately poisoned my husband? Dream, please. We can work something out. The company needs both of us. Marcus would want... Don't you dare tell me what Marcus would want! I slammed my hand on the table. You killed him for money, for control! Anthony's facade crumbled. I'm sorry, I truly am. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. Your apology means nothing to me. We've known each other for years. Surely that counts for something. It counts for betrayal at the deepest level. I stood, towering over him. You took everything from me. His eyes darkened. If you think I'm going down alone, you're mistaken. I'll destroy the company before I let you have it. I have connections you can't imagine. People who owe me favors. You'll regret this. The officer stepped forward as Anthony rose, pointing his finger at me. You think you've won? This isn't over. Not by a long shot. 6 months later, I sat in the courtroom as the jury foreman stood. On the charge of first-degree murder, we find the defendant, Anthony Clark, guilty. A collective gasp rippled through the gallery. Anthony slumped in his chair while his attorney placed a hand on his shoulder. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Mrs. Henderson, how do you feel about the verdict? One shouted. Justice was served, I replied simply, with Eliza and Thomas flanking me. Later, at the company offices, now firmly under my control, the board gathered for the first meeting since the trial concluded. The transition has been smoother than expected, Richard reported. Our stock actually increased after the verdict. Investors appreciate the stability and transparency of new leadership. And the clients Anthony threatened to take with him? I asked. All retained. Once they understood the circumstances, their loyalty to Marcus's vision outweighed any personal connections to Anthony. That evening, as we prepared for a memorial foundation launch in Marcus's name, a security guard approached. Ma'am, Anthony Clark's wife is here. She's requesting to speak with you. Olivia stood in the reception area, looking smaller somehow. Thank you for seeing me, she said. I wanted to apologize again. If I had recognized the signs sooner. You came forward when it mattered, I assured her. There's something else. Anthony wants to see you, before they transfer him to state prison. Absolutely not. He says he has information about other company matters that could affect you. I shook my head. Another manipulation. Tell him my attorney will handle any legitimate business concerns. He seems different, remorseful. Remorse doesn't bring Marcus back. 2 weeks later, I received a letter from Anthony. I almost threw it away, but curiosity won out. Dream, I know words mean nothing now. What I did was unforgivable. Not a day passes that I don't regret my actions. If there were any way to make amends. I stopped reading and dropped the letter into the shredder. That night, Eliza, Jade, and Detective Ramsey joined me for dinner. To Marcus, Eliza toasted, raising her glass. And to Dream, added Ramsey, for having the courage to seek the truth. What happens now? Jade asked. With everything? I looked around at these people who had helped me through the darkest period of my life. Now we build something new. The foundation will fund heart research. The company will continue Marcus's vision, and I paused, considering my words carefully. I moved forward. Not past this, but through it. And Anthony? Jade ventured cautiously. Anthony will serve his sentence. His appeals have been denied. Justice doesn't erase loss, but it does help us carry it. Do you think you'll ever forgive him? Ramsey asked. I met his gaze steadily. Some betrayals are beyond forgiveness. I don't wish him additional suffering, but I will never allow him back into my life in any capacity. Some bridges, once burned, cannot and should not be rebuilt. Eliza squeezed my hand. To boundaries and new beginnings. As we continued our evening, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. A sense of possibility. Not happiness, not yet, but its distant cousin. Hope. What would you do if someone betrayed you at the deepest level? Would you seek revenge, justice, or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.